Nobody here, huh? What's up, Steve? Nathan? What's going on? Ed, what's up? Thanks for checking in. Thanks for popping in. You can see by the thumbnail, I'm out here at the pool. I got a coffee. Just chilling. Just went over, had some breakfast. Went to, well, where I'm at, in Otay, Mesa, San Diego. I'm right here on the border. What's up, Stan? Sunday, yesterday too, everything was closed. Like there's 2 Mexican restaurants right next door to the hotel here, this Quality Inn or whatever. Got 2 Mexican restaurants right next door, closed. A couple more across the way, closed. So I ended up going to IHOP. It was either that or Jack in the Box, McDonald's, regular crap. So I said, screw that, man. Went over to get IHOP. They actually had decent stuff on the menu as far as better selection than just standard IHOP, because regionally around the country and stuff, menus change and everything. So like you could go to McDonald's in Hawaii and get spam and eggs, so stuff like that. But I went over there, they actually had a spicy poblano pepper omelet. It was decent though. It had like fresh peppers on it and stuff, and man, I'm getting a vagina neck like a motherfucker, dude. Yeah, there's a plastic surgeon. Get that shit zipped up. So anyway, yes, I'm in Otay, Mesa. Pulled a load out of Schuler, Nebraska on Wednesday. What's up, Winnipeg? And $8,000. It meant I didn't get to go home for Thanksgiving, but can you say Arriba Mexico? Yeah, I'm right here on the border. I'm like literally, I could piss over the border. You know what I mean? It's just right down the street. God dang it! They put fresh jalapenos on my omelet. It's like totally started screwing me up. Oof. So yeah, I took the load from Schuler, Nebraska down to here though for $8,000. So I dropped first thing in the morning, Monday morning, and then nothing booked yet out of here. And yeah, actually go to see a donkey show. I don't have a passport though. I gotta get a passport. Even just to cross into Mexico anymore. Like back in the day, you used to just show your ID, I gotta have a passport to go into Mexico. Because we used to go surfing down in Baja and stuff all the time when I was younger. And we just had our driver's licenses and willy-nilly, man, just go ahead. Do whatever you want. So what's everybody up to today though? Everybody get fat? Everybody get some turkey in them? I did not. What did I do? It was the first night. I picked up on Wednesday night before Thanksgiving in Schuler, Nebraska. I went down to Grand Island and stayed at the Bosselman. Of course, I got a bar and a restaurant there and everything, so I went in there, had me a couple beers with dinner, and hung out. Oof. Done shoveling the snow. Where you at? Northern Canada right now? Hell, it was 90 degrees down here yesterday. I had the truck running and everything. It was crazy. Oh, Michigan. Yeah. What part of Michigan? Because no, I wasn't up in Michigan this time. I was just up. Well, I was in Indiana, right up there. I had to go to Logansport to pick up a load. Took it over to Nebraska. I went and picked up my Nebraska to here. And the weather was looking a little hanky, when I was there, but it's already been 5 days ago. So, but yeah, it's about that time now. up north a little bit more. Snow's going to be coming down. I don't know if I had to run this all year. Do it. You know what I mean? Oh, Otay Mesa. I mean, I don't like going to California that much, but I'm here. You know. So. But yeah, I had a good week. Or good 2 weeks actually, and if he finds me a load tomorrow as soon as I drop and I can run that, that'll be sitting in Youngstown waiting on a one box. Ugh. Those one boxes, man, just delete that piece of shit if you can, you know. But yeah, as of right now, when I drop this in the morning for the pay period, I'll be at $22,200. Figure I'll probably take home, as it stands right now, $13,000 for this settlement. And if it finds me another load tomorrow before the cutoff, and I can run that one or pick it up. Usually, if you pick it up before the pay period ends, he pays that one too. So depending on what he finds me, it'd be crazy if he found me something out of here going to like Maine for $15,000 or something like that. We'll go, since we're so close to Arriba, New Mexico. But Arriba. But I'll be like that old soccer announcer dude, just go. So I just walked back over from IHOP. I grabbed a Starbucks on the way back though, because IHOP's coffee wasn't that good. So I just went and got one of these. But we're gonna come outside, sit around. It's nice. I got some crappy. Look at these. I mean, these things are busted as shit, man. Check these. Check out these chairs. They're all busted and everything. Tore up, dirty. Place to just run down. All those chairs over there. They all got ripped straps and. Surprised you can even sit in them. You know. Using it. What was it? How's the truck doing? It's doing good. It's running. It's doing its job. You know, it's went through the main thing I was really hoping for is that once we did get it out of the shop and I got running again, we could keep it running for at least a couple, 3 months before something else happened. You know, I've had trouble with the emissions a little bit where they're getting a little stupid on me. I keep getting I've had to pull over, do regens while I'm just driving, you know, and it should be doing regens on its own, but it seems to want to start throwing lights at me, and I got to pull over, do a regen, and then poor def quality, emissions system problem, get it checked, all this kind of stuff and whatever. So it could be the ECM or the one box possibly, sensors just going awry again or whatever. And I had most of the problems I had was on my last round out when I went to Manteca and I had to go through the mountains and everything. It was really putting a strain on the truck. And that's where I had more sensors going off and stuff. So maybe it's just not much of a mountain truck, you know what I mean? It's just gotta keep it out in the Midwest and just run it flat. But I did, you know, I got to build up to it a little bit still, but I did find a sweet looking W9 used. It's a 2007 with a ISX 15 Cummins pre-emission. It's up in Illinois, some guy's selling it. 17,000 miles on an engine rebuild. Had a rebuilt tranny. 291-inch wheelbase W900 with a Studio 86-inch sleeper. It's all customized, dash, floors, custom red paint all over it and stuff. Sweet looking truck. I go, that's what I want to go after right there. That's like exactly what I need to get. You know, I mean, I could look for a cat, but I don't want an A-cert cat. I'd want a 6NZ. The ISX Cummins pre-emissions were great too. They were great motors. So, hey man, screw it. Saw that thing. It was $94,000 for it though. But then again, recent rebuild, tranny rebuilt. It's got 336 rears, 18 speed. Like I said, 530 horse, 1850 torque, 18 speed, 291-inch wheelbase. It's got side boxes on it, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, perfect. Yeah. And the pre-emission Cummins were great. It's when you start stepping into DPF systems with Cummins, especially the DEF systems from 2012 to 2017 before the X15 came out. Those things were ridiculous. I mean, you had to rebuild those things by 500,000 miles every time. So even getting an emission one, the 08 to 2011, they're easy enough to delete too with just the filter systems on them. You can delete them pretty easy. And then the pre-emission ones, if you can pick up a pre-emission Cummins, great. You know, Cat, Cummins, whatever, pre-emission, excellent. Yeah, this truck I was looking at though, and I was like, ooh. You know, you just start getting a little chub. So I was like, I sent the pictures of it to Selena and everything too, and she was like, ooh. You know, if I could just get pretty quick, I could have the down payment together and extra capital built up enough to go get finance for it, and then just turn around and start paying that bitch off. But it's an 07, looks super clean. It's had custom red floors in it, custom red dash, red steering wheel. We bought one of those upgraded smart wheels that was all like chrome and shit with the buttons on it. So, I don't know, it's pretty sweet. I could drive that. Drive that shit all day. Yes, you are correct, sir. Ram pickups do have Cummins in it. Now, what is it? Is it the Chevy Duramax, I guess, is the one you don't really want to buy? And then, I guess, between the Cummins and Ford Power Strokes, especially the 7.3 liters back from like 20 years ago, I consider like the best diesel pickup motors. You know, the 7.3 and the Cummins. But don't ever buy a Chevy, was it Duramax, I think? Don't ever buy one of those, as far as I've heard reviews goes. I don't know. I do know, I hope he finds me a load tomorrow, pulling right here out of, oh shit, Dual Stacks, what's up, man? Yeah, I'm down here in Otay, Mesa, man. Where you at? And I know you live in San Diego, right? I mean, technically it's San Diego, but I'm a little east. But yeah, I'm doing a reset right now too, because I got here yesterday. I had plenty of time to turn a reset. So I found this Quality Inn or whatever it is. It has truck parking in the back of it. And I said, screw it, dude. They wanted paying $160 a night for a room. It's like, ooh, holiday weekend though, so it's just gonna happen, you know. So I went and forked it out, but I use Expedia to book rooms, or hotels.com, and I actually had a $90 credit. I had a $90 credit, so I applied that, dropped the price a little bit, but yeah, it was coming out to like $357 for 2 nights room. And then they wanted $10 a night to park out here in their parking lot. I'm like, dude, you're already charging me through the ass for the room, and you know, so I pay $20 to park out plus a $100 deposit that they refund after I leave, and it's like, so it ended up being like almost $500 to, you know, forking up $500 just to stay here for a couple of nights, and I'm like, whatever, dude. But then I walked over, it was a gas station right next door. Guys in Atlanta wanting Coors. Atlanta waiting on some Coors. What, did something happen supply chain wise that Coors ain't going to Atlanta or something like that? Yeah, Chris, I figured, I actually ragged on the girl at the counter. I go, man, and she goes, okay, it's $10 a night for parking too. And I go, the room wasn't enough already to go ahead and front me some parking? What's up? And she was, man, she was major sauerkraut. She was like, oh no. I'm like, whatever, dude. You know, so I'm just kidding, relax, jeez. But yeah, it's a decent enough hotel. It's all right. The pool needs a little renovation, I can tell you that. If I brought along my Speedo, I could go swimming. I could prop the camera up and watch me do cannonballs with my man tits and my banana hammock. Water would probably be cold. Oh, Smokey and the Bandit. Yeah. Bear in Texarkana. Actually, the funny thing about Smokey and the Bandit, because now you find Coors everywhere, right? It used to be a thing of Coors couldn't cross the Mississippi, I guess. Somebody might know more about this. But back in the day, yeah, it was actually illegal to haul Coors east of the Mississippi because they weren't union. And of course, you had Miller and Budweiser and all them, that they were major union stuff at the Mississippi. And something about it, they wouldn't allow Coors to come west of the or east of the Mississippi. That's why Smokey and the Bandit, they went and stole all that beer, but they were going outlaw with it, taking it east of the Mississippi. It was illegal. So kind of a funny little fun fact for the day, if it was in fact a fact. I think it's a fact. Pretty sure. Somebody can Google it. Hit the old Google, look it up. But I'm pretty sure back in the 70s and stuff, before the union thing really started kind of giving way and everything into the 80s, you could not take Coors east of the Mississippi. Yeah, deregulation and everything. After Reagan got in office and he deregulated everything, I guess that broke a lot of that up. But yeah, it was some regulation or union thing or something like that couldn't take Coors east. And then because my grandpa, actually my mom, she grew up in Imperial Beach right here, and my grandpa was a truck driver in Imperial Beach. He drove for, I think the company's still around today. It was a concrete hauling company, Sloan something here in San Diego. Anyway, he drove for them since like the 30s or 40s, right? And he drove a cement mixer, but because he was union, but he liked Coors. But if you were seen by anybody in the union buying Coors beer, my mom said that my grandma didn't drive, so my grandpa would drive my grandma down to the store, drop her off, and he'd go pull around and wait like in a neighborhood looking while my grandma went in, and she'd go buy him his 6-pack of Coors or something like that. And then she'd come back out and walk down the street a little bit, and he'd pick her up and go home. And then I guess he would throw the bottles or the cans or something like that in like a neighbor's trash can or something like that. Because he was Teamsters, he was not going to be seen with Coors, even though he liked Coors. My mom told me stories too that he was in the union, but he didn't agree with strikes. He didn't want to strike, but of course you had to do it. So, plus he only had one leg. I think it was his left leg. He had valley fever back in like the 50s or something like that, and he actually got his leg amputated from the knee down. So he had a wooden leg, and he drove truck, and he was able to clutch. And you imagine like old school cement mixers back in the 50s and everything. He had a wooden leg, and he'd sit there and be able to clutch with that thing. He's tougher than me, man. I'm pissed. I'm like, God damn. Of course, now you got an automatic truck, so you might be able to get away with it. You lose your left leg, just get an automatic truck, I guess. But yeah, same thing. When they go on strike, he'd get his picket sign, and because of his leg, I guess, and plus he didn't agree with the strike or something like that, he wanted to go to work. But you go to get it was like $5 a day strike pay or something like that way back when. He'd pull the car up around by the strike line and just like wedge his sign in his mirror or something like that, where it was just there, and he would just sit there with the car listening to the radio. Yeah, that was his involvement in strikes. It's kind of funny though, I come from a long line of truckers. Always interesting story. I remember my grandpa, though, had that wooden leg, and the wooden leg, the shin of it had a vent hole in it when I was a little kid, I mean, talk about the screwy stuff that he would do. When he would be sitting in his chair, he would take his leg off and have it sitting there. And I'd go over. They had this vent hole on it, and I'd put my finger in it, and I was only like 4 years old or something like that. He'd put his hand down in his leg and wait for me to stick my finger through it, and he'd grab it. He'd go, he'd always tell me he had a rattlesnake in his boot or whatever, in his leg. And he'd actually grab my fingers and yank on him and stuff, like he's biting him and stuff. He's all, rattlesnake, rattlesnake. That was always funny. Yeah, Papa was cool. My grandpa is cool. He died a long time ago, though. He got cancer. Died in '86. Yeah, it's already been 35 years. 35 years since he died. Damn. Remember, what was I, 12 years old when he died? 13? Yes, 13. Sucks, man. They were cool grandparents, too. Grammy was always making me pies and everything. Sloan? Yeah, something Sloan. I think they're still around. I don't know. Maybe they sold out or something. Did we move? No, we still live in Texas. I'm just in Otay, Mesa, San Diego right now. Waiting to drop my load tomorrow. Dropping loads. Surprised Selena hasn't come in here yet. No, how's the truck run? It's good. Everything's cool with the truck. I think I got to get a new radiator cap. That's the only thing I've noticed. I'm spitting a little, and only because I've been going up a lot of mountains the past couple rounds that I've noticed I'm spitting some shit out of the cap. So a little bit too much pressure. I might have to, like I said, get a new radiator cap that seals up better. That's about all I can see. I've lost like just a little cunt hair of coolant in the reservoir. So I think it was happening when I was going up over Donner a couple weeks back and stuff, So hasn't been an issue since. Yesterday, pulling the 8 coming over here, that's a long drag up that too. And it really is a shitbag. Is this William Worthington or just one of his friends? Still breaking the bank, yeah. As soon as I drop this load in the morning, my pay period will be $22,200 gross for 2 weeks. I got $8,000 for this load on 1,550 miles, so it was over $5 a mile to come out here. Before that, I got a load for like $1,700 on 283 miles. So made really good money on that one. What did I do? I left out of Texas up to Danville, Illinois. That was my first run. Well, before I did Danville, I had 2 runs that totaled $5,500. I did 7,000 to Danville, Illinois. Then I went over to Logansport, Indiana, to Clinton, Iowa for $1,700. And now I went from Clinton, Iowa with a lot of deadhead. I had like 380 miles of deadhead. I had to go over to Schuler, Nebraska from Clinton, Iowa and pick this one up, but it was $8,000. So overall, I'm at over 22,000 gross. If this is my last load of the pay period, I'll have netted 15,000 something, like 15,800 or something like that. And it's up Florida. And then, taking off fuel and deductions, I'll be at like over $12,000 for 2 weeks. So netting over Nelson and Sloan, that's correct, yes. Yeah, my grandpa drove for them forever. Retired Teamsters, all that shit. But he actually, in Imperial Beach or the San Diego paper one time, I got a clipping of it at home. My mom gave it to me because I'm a trucker too. So she's like, here's all your grandpa's, trucker stuff. But it was actually receives commendation or a service award or something like that, or what it was at the time like 25 years of service with one leg. I thought it was hilarious. It's a picture of my grandpa sitting there with like the owner of Nelson and Sloan, Oh, there's Selena. She's text right now. And but it's my grandpa sitting there with like, he had a totally stale face. He's all shaking hands with this guy. My grandpa was a real quiet man, you know, but he had a presence about him. He was a small guy too, short, but he was very calm. Never spoke loudly. Loved me and my brother dearly. He like really doted on us and stuff like that. He was such a great guy, and he would play tricks on us all the time. You know, like reaching in and grabbing my finger. Because I lived right here in Imperial Beach off of Palm Avenue, the border was like, this will sound a little bit racist, but I think it's hilarious if you call it racist or discriminating or something like that. That because illegal aliens would come over the border, but they had a long lot. It was like they had like a half-acre lot that they planted stuff and everything on their back lot. There was a road in back of their house, an alleyway or a street, because I remember they lived off of Donix Avenue, off Palm Avenue there, Donix, a residential area, but they had a long lot, and the border was just beyond it, and there were cars that would drop off aliens, and, you know, border jumpers would come over, and sounds like we grew up in the same city. Yeah, right over Donix Avenue, Palm Avenue, right off the 5805 area right there. Imperial Beach, you know. I came down here all the time as a kid and everything because I grew up in Mission Viejo, and we'd come down and visit and everything. Anyway, they drop off the illegal aliens in the back there, and then they had to go up to another road where another car, van was waiting. Well, they would run through my grandparents' backyard all the time because it was, you know, straight shot with like they'd have to jump a gate and all this kind of stuff. But my grandpa, he was a jokester and everything too, you know, and you know, the whole neighborhood was Hispanic, you know. When I growing up down there, coming down here and stuff, all the kids in the neighborhood were Hispanic and everything. A lot of them spoke Spanish, and I'd be out there playing with them, just kicking balls and stuff like that, or whatever. But yeah, it was funny though, because all the illegal aliens that would jump the fence, they would come through at night while we were sleeping right there and stuff. And my grandpa said, hey, let's, like I said, this sounds bad, but it was hilarious. Looking back, it was hilarious. And he's like, hey, let's go catch some aliens or whatever tonight. And he would, because I didn't understand what illegal aliens were. And I thought it was like actual aliens or something like that were coming in the backyard tonight. So I'm thinking there's like glowing monsters out in the backyard at night or something like that. So I'd go out there. He's like, yeah, let's set some traps for him and stuff. Like, I'd be out there with kite string, like tying it between two little tree posts or something like that, you know, like I'm putting up tripwires. And then because he grew a lot of produce and everything, that he had like grape crates and, you know, grape crates, little balsa wood or thin wood crates and stuff. I'd be out there with a stick, like putting these crates up and putting a stick underneath it like I'm going to trap a squirrel. You know, I'd be out there in the backyard. One time, he just stood out there watching me too, just laughing. And I set up all these traps all over the backyard. I think I'm going to catch some glowing alien at night. And, you know, it's like literally though, being a little kid, I'd set this grape crate up with a stick and a piece of string, but the string was only like a foot long. You're like, who's going to pull it? You know, it's like, it was the stupidest stuff, but he'd be out there laughing his ass off at that. He thought it was the most hilarious thing. And yeah, it was good times though. Here's to you, Papa. Like I said, some people might find that offensive, but back in the 70s, that was hilarious. What's up, KRC, Florida? See, Stan gets it. He thinks it's hilarious. But then, too, my grandpa, they had the backyard, and then there was a gate, you know, a dual thing gate to go out into the back lot where they had the garden and stuff. But there was a tool shed out there, and Papa had Playboys and Hustlers and Penthouses out there in the shed. So me and my brother, we go sneaking out there and find them. So I'm like 5 years old, and I'm like looking at Penthouse, yeah, going, ooh, what's that? And of course, my brother, he was a little bit older than me, so he's probably over there knuckle shuffling his fucking meat flute. But we'd be sitting there looking at these magazines, and you'd hear the back door open or something like that. Yeah, the house was a pretty good stretch away, but you'd hear Papa coming out going, "What are you guys doing out in that tool shed?" He knew what we were doing. But he'd be like, "What are you doing out there in that tool shed?" Like, "Nothing." Now, I will admit, Papa was old school, and I remember it wasn't even a derogatory term necessarily, but calling illegal aliens wetbacks, that he would say wetback all the time, but he didn't do it like, God damn you, he wasn't like that. It was just like, oh, because, just explaining that, yeah, because the wetbacks come over or something like that. And so I never knew wetback to be a bad term either, and it was just what illegal aliens were called. It was just, I don't know. Like I said, say that nowadays, you're going to get in a fight. And, that's a derogatory term, like saying the N-word or something like that. And it's like, when you just grew up with it, like I know my buddy's grandpa, and he's been dead over 20 years, he was in the 90s and stuff, we were talking way back in the early part of the century and stuff like that. He was an old roughneck oil guy and stuff like that, but I remember when we went to a restaurant one time with him, and again, it wasn't like a bad thing, but it was the terminology that they used back then. For a black guy, it was a color guy. And I remember he was sitting there and he says, oh, this old color guy I knew, and you saw heads like this going, what'd you say? Like you're talking this back in like the 90s or something like that. And that was now a bad thing. It's like we've become so padded on all the words we can use that weren't derogatory. It was just, now it's, if you say even a black guy, people get offended. You got to say African American or whatever, I don't know. Or a person of color, POC, just so you don't offend anybody. But it's just the way it used to be, man. I don't know. Is it better or worse anymore? I think it's actually gotten worse because so many people are more offended by so many more things now. It's like, what are we supposed to say? We just, you see a black guy coming down the street, oh yeah, you see a black guy, oh, there's a black guy. Or you start saying, beep boop, or something like that, blip blip, or whatever. You guys start making little funny sounds or something like that, Oh, Steven, how is the truck? Gotten plenty of those questions in this live feed right now. Truck is good, it's running fine, everything's good. Just parked out here in their little parking lot. Still got the reefer going. I got a full load of tripe. It's a cross-border load. It's a full load of tripe, 42,000 pounds of tripe. Tripa. Is that what's called in, is that how you say, is it tripa or tripe? For the stomach lining of a cow, for menudo. And I'm sure several other things too. I don't like tripe. Tripe sucks. Whenever I've got menudo in the past and it's mounded with fucking big chunks of tripes, like, ugh. Like I said, I don't like tripe. I'll eat pozole all day long. It's, the stewed pork soup instead of, like the menudo soup is good, but I don't like the tripe in it. So, but usually you can't just order menudo without the tripe, because it's usually in it already and it's just in there. There's tons of it. That's gross. I hate tripe. But I like the texture of it. The honeycomb, stomach lining, whatever. It's like, oof. I've never cared for it. Pozole, on the other hand, I'll eat that shit all day long with the cabbage and cilantro and cebolla and all that kind of stuff. And just, I'll eat that shit all day long, man. What we got? Tripe tacos, lingua tacos I'll do. It's like even the lingua, the cow tongue, if it's done right and it's soft and it's all cubed up small and everything, I can eat that stuff. Of course, carne asada, pork tacos, anything, all depends on how it's made. I usually find, the spice in it and all that kind of stuff. If it's plain, even carne asada, if they just don't do much to it and it even comes out a little bit tough. Like carne asada, I've seen that they boil the meat, and that's horrible. It makes it all tough. I mean, you can boil it to cook it and chop it up, and then you grill it, but it doesn't soften it. You know what I mean? It comes out real tough and stringy sometimes. So you got to do carne asada properly. You got to, all this kind of stuff. Stewed pork, you got to put that shit in a pot and stew it for days. So people have been out here trying to get this stupid car on a trailer forever. I don't know if you could hear all the noise of some rattling and clanking around. They're trying to get this car on a little car hauler, but they're hauling it with a Chrysler 300. I don't know about that. Car's all sunk to ass, they're like dragging it out here. The thing I've seen too is there's a shit ton right down here, right by the border. A ton of abandoned cars all over the place. Tons. Lining the streets all up and down here and everything. Motorcycles and cars. I don't know if they're... But you especially love the chorizo. Yeah, chorizo is really good. Depending on the spice in it. Sometimes it can be too greasy, too spicy. I like chorizo that's probably a little weaker on the spice, and then mixing it up with, eggs and everything. Yeah, absolutely. And then, like I said, peppers, onions, cilantro, all that kind of stuff. Just juke it up. And then, too, if somebody makes really good salsa, like a good tomateo verde salsa to go with it, with a red chili, but it's hot. It's got good flavor to it and stuff like that. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, Otay, it's been it's actually been several years since I've been to Otay Mesa. But yeah, just going up and down all the streets and everything, everything's cool. I mean, like I said, I could throw a rock over the border right now. It's literally the border crossings right here. But everything's nice, everything's quiet. It's Sunday, it's peaceful. I'm having a great morning, I'm gonna have some breakfast. I wish one of the Mexican places had been open, but have I had In-N-Out? Of course I've had In-N-Out. I grew up in California, dude. I grew up in Mission Viejo, Orange County, Southern Orange County, right off of Alicia Parkway, down off of Avery Parkway, just a couple exits down, was the one In-N-Out in Orange County almost when I was growing up. And it had 2 drive-thrus, and that place was packed out in the street all the time. And having In-N-Out when you were a kid, when I was younger, was a treat because of the lines. Unless you had all day to blow to sit in line and get a burger. Then as In-N-Outs grew and everything, now you can find them. But In-N-Out burger, hands down, is way better than Whataburger. Yeah. Like everybody says, Whataburger and Brahms and Steak and Shake and all these places. No, absolutely not. In-N-Out burger is by far, hands down, the best chain burger out there. And of course you can do them animal style and all these other things and whatever, but In-N-Out burger is fresh. Their fries are usually decent, but you got to eat them quick, because if In-N-Out fries get cold, they suck, because they make them fresh. They're just soggy and get all bendy and shit. So you got to eat that stuff. You got to eat that stuff on the spot. So like even if you get food to go from In-N-Out, you take those fries home, they're already soggy. It's like, the one on Avery, still there? Yeah, I remember every time I go down there, though, my mom, before I was driving, when I was just maybe preteen or something like that, we actually went down there for the first time, because my mom finally said, yeah, we'll wait in line this time and get In-N-Out. We did, and it was good, By far, I don't go out of my way for In-N-Out burger or anything like that. If it's there, I get it. I got my little small joints that I like to go to all over the country. Selena and I marked off a lot of places over the years, but especially Southern California. Then I lived up in Northern California. There were just cafes, restaurants, there were mom and pop places that I loved going to. I would always choose mom and pop places over chain places. Like there was a Mexican restaurant in Mission Viejo right there that was right down the street from my house. I go there almost every day for a couple of years. I was going there. I got so fat. And when I was like 18, 19. but it was called Casa Franco. The guy knew me by name. I come in there every day, I get a carne asada burrito, beans, rice, salsa chips, iced tea. You know, it's like I got the same thing every day, and yeah, I was fat. And there was another place, but it was just a single fast food restaurant. It wasn't a chain, but it was called Carmel's, and they made a steak burrito, carne asada burrito with refried beans and rice and all the peppers and cilantro and onions in it and stuff, with fucking just huge burritos for like $5. I get 2 of those things and take them to work with me, and I was eating 2 of those things a day. Like I said, I got fat. They were so good. I miss living in Southern California. For part of that is just missing all the good Mexican food for the most part. Like Texas has got some stuff. They actually opened a Roberto's in Lubbock now, so you get a little bit of the, you know, Southern California Mexican again. But a lot of places over there too are like Tex-Mex and everything. It's not quite the same, you know. The way they make their salsa. Like I said, if you get up in the Midwest, they put that white queso sauce on everything, and it's like it's not my bag. Later, Dual Stacks. Take care, man. It's good of you to check in. Long time no here. Yeah, I would have ventured to say if anybody's in Otay Mesa and wants to have a beer. But, you know, how many people are in Otay Mesa right now? Of the 51 people in this live feed, who's in Otay Mesa? So yeah, we're just chilling. Nothing much going on. I figured I'd check in. I got a ton of video shot. I just haven't edited it or anything. I probably got a good couple, 3 hours worth of video stacked up over the past couple weeks that I just haven't done anything with. So I figure I'll, the camera's in the truck. I gotta get the GoPro and download it and everything. And that's gonna take all day to upload all that shit. GoPro goes extremely slow. Like I've got 20 minutes of video. It probably takes about 30 or 40 minutes to move it over to my phone so I can put it in the editing software and all that kind of stuff. So that's part of it too. It's like once I get so much of it, it just gets backed up and I go, ah, shit. I was like, I might as well just start over fresh. So, God damn, man. Every time I come out west, I mean, I'm always congested anyways, my deviated septum and everything, I'm always screwed up. Every time I come out west though, I get mad bloody noses and stuff. It's crazy. Yeah, I've noticed other, I mean, it's California, but it's just so odd looking that like even over, I went to IHOP, and of course I'm walking around, I don't wear a mask anymore, I don't care, whatever. But I walked in there, and of course, you should see, I don't know what it is, people are so fearful, like weird looking, that everybody's wearing face masks, of course, but then they're sitting at the table with their face masks on. God damn. And they're lifting up their mask and taking a bite and putting it down. And I'm like, I just walked in, balls out. I didn't care. My dick was hanging out, like no face mask or nothing. And people's faces are looking at me like, oh, he's not wearing a mask. Oh my God. I couldn't. And I just sat down at the table, ordered my food, sat there just chomping. Everybody around me was wearing face masks. Like, even to take a drink of water, people were like doing this. But I saw eyes peering over, like they're like, what the hell is going on, dude? Where did we get to this state? You know what I mean? That people are so fearful like this. I don't get it. Like, it's still continuing. It's been almost 2 years. It's been 2 years. And I would say as of right now, I mean, my opinion would be, I'll bet 80+%. Because if you haven't come into contact with this virus in the past 2 years, whether or not you're wearing a face mask, whether or not, you know, if you haven't had this in your system already, then you're living in a cave. You know, we've all been out here working, going to the grocery store, other people touching our stuff, going to truck stops, retail stores, Walmart, everything. We've all touched it. It's all been there. Okay, and everybody thinks a face mask is going to block stuff. What about your eyeballs? Okay, your face mask has pockets and stuff too. You can breathe that stuff in. It does nothing. You know, and people are sitting there like, oh my God, oh, you know. Yeah, it was just so funny though. I was the only one that I saw walking into that place without a face mask on. And then everybody was sitting there with their face masks on while they're eating. And I go, dude, I mean, okay, so the waitress brought your plate, the waitress brought your silverware, your drink, she touched all your stuff, but she also touched a bunch of other people's stuff too. Somebody in there has COVID, and she touches their stuff, now she touches your stuff. What? Yeah, there's no way to stop it. I like the one quote, trying to stop COVID is like trying to stop the wind. You know, it's like, it just happens, man. It's the way it goes. Just deal with it. Live. Go back out, live your life. What's up, Wolf Man? Yeah, it's just so funny though. Like I said, I'm walking around, my balls up, and I've walked into all the stores and everything, walking around. God, people are in their cars with face masks on. I'm talking everybody. Everybody's walking around, driving around, even walking down the street with a face mask on. I mean, just such timid people, man. I don't get it. I know everybody, don't talk about that stuff or whatever, but it's like, it's in front of you every day, man. You can't not talk about it. I'm just sitting here looking at all these people going, a bunch of sheep, dude. They just, I don't know, whatever. I'll probably get this live feed canceled for misinformation or something like that, but you know. I would think if you're going to wear a mask forever, you might as well just wear a deep sea diving with a big metal bubble head on it and everything. Walk around that thing for a while. That would make more sense. Yeah. You actually want to have clean air. Yeah. Walk around with a scuba tank on or something like that. Oh yeah, Bubble Boy. Yeah, it's just everybody walking around those big plastic hamster balls or something like that. You know, and just bouncing into each other and. I don't know. People are retarded. I mean, as soon as you let fear run your life and make your decisions for you, you're done. There's no coming back. That's all it is. You got to overcome fear. Fear of anything, you know. I was told, all my kids and everything and whatever, don't be afraid to try new stuff, Go on that roller coaster. Never be afraid. Live life. Or, people... People do that thing too of they don't like certain foods their whole life. And the thing my ex-wife, she didn't like mushrooms, like vehemently hated mushrooms, right? And I was like, why? And she's all, because they're just gross. I don't like tasting them. Have you ever tried them? No. You never tried mushrooms, you just don't like them. Yeah, I just don't like them. Have you ever had sauteed mushrooms in like with shrimp and everything and garlic and make a nice, pesto or something like that, Sauteed mushrooms are great, It's like, I'd actually cook them and try to get her to try it, and she'd even pick it up and look at it and stuff like that. But then, another thing, this is the big one that proved the point. She hated fish and chips. Fish and chips. I mean, what are you talking about? Fish and chips are bombs. Actually, if you get like good English style fish and chips, beer battered haddock or whatever it is, that all of my talking the whole time, fish and chips are great. You should try it. Try fish and chips. Try fish and chips. And no, it's gross. Then she went out to dinner one night with my parents while I was at work, and went to like Baker Square or something like that. And my dad ordered fish and chips. And she's like, oh my God, and he's all, have you ever had it? And she's like, no, I don't want fish and chips, it's gross. So I'll just try it. So we're paying for dinner, go ahead and try it. And if you don't like it, we'll order something else. So she actually ordered fish and chips. Then she turns around and calls me right after dinner going, oh my God, you'll never believe what I was having. It was the best thing ever, blah, blah, blah. Fish and chips. And it's like, because then my dad, he ordered it, and he got malt vinegar and tartar sauce and whatever, squeeze lemon on it and everything. But the malt vinegar, you shake on it, that's what does it. And that fish and chips is fucking excellent, And she's like, oh my God, that was the best thing ever. Why have I never tried that? And it's like, are you willing to try mushrooms now? Yeah? No. Although she would use cream of mushroom soup for stuff, for cooking and everything, but she wouldn't eat mushrooms. Just weird. Like, why do you, the same thing, the fear, the timidity of people, that they just get it built up in their mind that this is how it has to be. You don't critically think and rationalize anything, think logically, and apply common sense to everything. And it's like, what do you expect to happen? You're just going to live in fear in your little bubble all your life and everything. It's like, I always urge people. A lot of people don't like sushi. Like, oh, raw fish. It's like, have you ever tried it? No. Try it. I'll even take you to a place to try it. Try it. Get you some nice spicy tuna rolls or something like that. I always like getting eel and tobiko. That's the little fish eggs soaked in wasabi. I love all that shit. To me, it's great. Other people, if you've never tried it, then don't tell me it's gross. You know what I mean? If you've tried it, fine. So yeah, what's my 20? Otay, Mesa, California, San Diego. Right down here on the border, dropping a load of tripe in the morning. Frozen tripe. And off to the races after that. I'll have a reset in, so I figure I'll probably, if some high dollar comes up, it's going, because I've already been out a week and a half, he would probably be inclined to want to work me back towards home. But if something big money comes up right now, which especially cross-border loads like this right now, for Christmas, they get hot for a while. So I might be able to, start tomorrow, I might see some good money coming out of this area. So let's see what comes up. Maybe a produce load. I don't know what they're bringing over the border here right now. I haven't seen what's big right now. I know Christmas freight gets big coming over through here in Calexico and stuff like that. Yeah, maybe Yuma. Like I said, we'll see what comes up. So. Yeah, it was kind of a bummer last week. He had that load. I mean, this worked out better probably. It put me in a stronger area. But when I was in Illinois, when I dropped in Danville, he was going to have a load out of Wilmington, Illinois. I think it was a load of frozen meat or something like that. Anyway, going to Portland, Maine, and he was getting $9,000 for it. That's what he quoted the guy, and then I guess somebody else must have ended up taking it for cheaper, because we ended up not getting the Raycon. But $9,000 to go just about 1,100 miles. Just about $9 a mile to go to fucking Maine. I was like, hell yeah, I'll go to Maine for $9,000. Which would amplify my thing of Otay Mesa. If there's freight coming over right here right now, that would be good. Like say there was a load directly out of here going all the way up to Maine. Like, so if you triple that price, I'll do it for $20,000 or something like that, or yeah, make my whole week. Then get up to Maine, turn around, pull a cheaper one out of there, of course. Wiggle my way back to Ohio at least, or something like that, and get back into $5 plus a mile range. Yeah, the rates banging. See what happens after the first of the year if there's a little bit of a slowdown. I don't anticipate it though. There's so many shortages. I think these rates are going to keep banging for a long time, because they're already talking about 2022 ain't going to get no better. If anything, all the regulations and mandates are getting put in against productivity, it's probably going to get even worse. So make hay while the sun shines. I will get out here and be productive. while everybody else is miserable, I guess. Like I'm profiting on people's misery. But guess what? So is the government, and so are all these billionaires right now. They're profiting on everybody's misery. I might as well get my little piece of the pie too, you know. Don't pass up the opportunity to make some good money right now. Well, it's been just about an hour. I guess I can get off here. Figure I'd check in. Someone will always be miserable. Yeah. Like I said, Jeff, like everybody wants to, oh, Jeff Bezos, the richest man in the world. Yeah, he's profited off of other people's misery. He profits off of paying his people slave wages. He profits off of small business being crushed and going under and people going bankrupt. Well, he profits. I mean, give it to him and like respect to him in the way of he built a better mousetrap. Hey, you know, Walmart, same thing, you know. It's just they built a better mousetrap. They're benefiting from it. Fine. You know, me being a single owner operator, I'm picking up the scraps type thing, you know, but I'm definitely going to try and benefit from it any way I can, you know. So, and I am going to start peppering money across cryptocurrencies. The dollar is devaluing like crazy, so if you can get into some crypto. We were looking at doing real estate investing with the eviction moratoriums and everything, and actually landlords are going under right now and losing their properties. Well, guess who's buying them up? The government. It's the future of real estate, man. They're going to be buying up all the rental properties and stuff, so they own it, and we are all the serf class. That's basically what I see going down. That's my thought. So. Well, cool. It's been an hour. Ow. This chair sucks. So I'm gonna finish my coffee. I got a 12-pack of Tecate in the fridge. I drank a whole 12-pack of Pacifico last night, and then I got a 12-pack of Tecate. I was bent because I was tired from driving all day over here anyways, and then I started drinking, and those things were just going down so easy. And I drank a 12-pack of Pacifico and just got hammered. Woke up, took 3 beer dumps. Everybody enjoys a good beer dump. Yeah, talking about going over to Mexico, I don't have a passport. I gotta get my passport. We were gonna do it a couple of years ago. When COVID hit, we just kind of brushed it off, you know, because we knew we weren't going anywhere. I still got, Selena's got her passport, but I got to get mine. Do they let people into Tijuana without a passport? I don't know. Because I can see, I mean, the border is right here. I can literally just walk over there right now, you know. It's just down the street. So I was always under the impression for the past several years you had to have a passport now to get into Mexico, or even to come back. I don't know. I don't feel like going over to Tijuana and then trying to get back in, have my cheese left out in the wind. Although, by the way it sounds, I could just walk in anywhere. Apparently, actually, it would be the funny thing that, you know, illegal aliens can walk over the border all day, right? But what if I have a Texas ID? I have a TWIC card, you know, federal IDs and all this kind of stuff, multiple forms of ID. But what if they go, no, we gotta have a passport to come back to the U.S. You know what I mean? Don't need one. It's port of entry as long as it has the magnet strip. Oh, you mean the little scan code on the back of it? Yeah, because I got a gold star, and I got, you know, that whatever they call it. I got a Texas ID now. I barely ever look at it, so. Yeah, I got the magnets, or magnet strip, okay. And yeah, I'll cover up my personal info. But I got the gold star too, so. You like my little smirking face there? You know why? Because when the lady was taking that picture, I was ripping a fart, so. So you can leave that one in the office. I'm gonna crop dust you on the way out. Cool. Google the Hong Kong Club, huh? Am I gonna go over there and get decapitated? I'm just kidding. I used to go to Mexico when I was younger and stuff. I know there's a lot of friction at parts of the border and stuff like that, but the deeper you go into Mexico, usually it's a lot nicer. You know, once you get through, and I'm sure TJ has a lot of nice places and all that. It's a big city too. It has all the regular stuff and all that kind of stuff. Typically, I don't know. I haven't been over to TJ in a long time. I mean, it's been 25 years probably since I went surfing down there and everything. Because we used to go down Baja and everything. We go to Baja Malibu and K38 and go to down past Rosarito and everything and go surfing down there. So, but I mean, I have considered that too, as far as living in Mexico with the way things are going here now and taxes and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Mexico's getting a lot harder to get like a resident visa. You know, to stay down there. I think if you get a resident visa in Mexico, you can stay down 6 months at a time, I think, or you just got to come back to the U.S., check in, and then go back or something like that. I've seen a lot of stuff on Ecuador being really good too. It's a lot cheaper and much easier. Ecuador, you can have, as long as you inject $40,000 into the economy, either by investment into a bank or anything, or if you buy property in Ecuador of it valued at least 40,000 or higher, that you bring 40,000 bucks into the economy, you can get a resident visa down there, permanent resident visa, and you just have to get it renewed every 2 years. I just got to brush up on my Spanish better, but then too, a lot of people in Ecuador also, it runs on the dollar, but a lot of people in Ecuador also speak English, so yeah, of course, being fluent in Spanish would be a big help, but Santa's grotto next month. Well, I mean, I just got a little face scruff right now. Usually I just got my little chin patch. I did have the full beard out for a little bit and I shaved it. It was getting annoying. Shaved it 2-3 weeks ago again. Yeah, when I let it grow though, it starts getting kind of, if I do grow it back, I gotta learn how to sculpt it better and oil it and do all that kind of stuff to keep it. When you're out on the road though, it's a pain and it just gets all nappy and nasty, so. Lived in Las Nieves? Nieves, Durango? Yeah, like I said, there was back in the day when I worked in restaurants and stuff, I was a cook in restaurants and working with all the pendejos back there. I mean that as a term of affection. You know, we all were like a little family back there, but I had a family of them. It was like a brother and sister and an uncle and a cousin. All of them were from, what was it called? Way down, Acapulco. They're from Acapulco. And what's up, Taylor? But they're always telling me, like, they wanted me to take a trip with them. Acapulco's on the west coast, right? But they're all from Acapulco, and they said, yeah, you should take a trip with us down there sometime and all this kind of stuff too back in the day. I was like, maybe, I don't know. Never did. But as far as I know, from what everybody says, mainland Mexico is great. You know, just when you get up around the border, you know, even the border towns and stuff, you got Mexicali and all this kind of stuff, and Tijuana, and I guess Juarez would be one to kind of avoid, I guess, in a lot of ways, as far as I know. But yeah, I mean, I knew a guy that lived in Mexicali that he drove fuel tankers in Yuma or Calexico. He would just cross the border and go home, so he paid no income taxes for the U.S. because he was a Mexican citizen, but he worked in America, and he paid no income taxes up here. He'd go home and he goes, oh, it's so much nicer down there. So I bought land on a hill I built my own house. My friends came over. They were all contractors. Yeah, Bitcoin is about to blow up, I think. It's up to like 56,000 right now. And it's getting ready to blow because they're talking about by next month or first part of the year, the dollar is just crashing because they're going into another stimulus period too. They're going to be printing more money, and the dollar's just going to keep devaluing. So, deliver a load in Cali? Well, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Yeah, Bitcoin, Ethereum, was it that Shiba? I mean, there's a ton of cryptocurrencies. I just saw a video, which was really crazy too, that back in April of 2020, when they cut the first stimulus check, had you taken that $1,200 and put it in, and they had a list of the 10 cryptocurrencies that were the top traders, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all these ones all the way down the road. I got the list of them. You know, I'm on Coinbase, the app to invest, so I'm gonna start dropping money. What's up, TJ? It's crapping, hanging out in San Diego, man. 80 degrees and sunny and beautiful. So, but had you put $1,200 on these 10 cryptos back in April of 2020, they showed how much it would be worth now, you know, like by September, so a year and a half later. There were ones, had you put $1,200 on this one, it would have been worth $280,000 now. You know, it's like, now that's only if you did $1,200 on one of these coins, right? One of these cryptos. Well, what if I had taken 12,000 and put 1,200 on each of these 10? You know what I mean? What is it? All the hospitals today are full of COVID patients. Yeah, and then you come to find out the one big thing they're not talking about is who are all the people infected with COVID anymore. The majority are people that have already been vaccinated. Yep, crypto is going to be a great hedge. Absolutely. I've really come around on that. I wish I had, like I said, 10 years ago when Bitcoin was going for like $1 a coin, I wish I just gone and bought 10,000 Bitcoins, you know? Like people thought it was a joke 10 years ago, and now it's taken over, and now we're running late into the game, you know what I mean? I wish I had been on the ground floor of that 10 years ago. People are laughing their asses off at Bitcoin going, what's that? Oh, that's nothing. That's like, what was it, like video game tokens or something like that? What are you gonna do with that? Gold, silver, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is now in the category of silver and gold and whatever, you know. Well, Turkey yesterday, or at the end of the week, and in the past week or two, Turkey's lira has gone down in value 43%. 43%. Their money is absolutely crashing, and they're figuring the euro, the pound, and the dollar are going to follow. That China's already been crashing. They've lost a ton of value. With that one, what the hell was it? The big investment and development firm over there, the Capstone. Was it Capstone? No. Anyway, I forget. Anyway, that crashed, and their economy is in havoc. Everybody's economy is in havoc. And do not, the thing's kind of coming around, don't invest in fiat currencies. You know, if you can break a 401k right now, all that kind of stuff, I don't put into 401ks. They're backed up by the government, and nope, ain't gonna do it no more. I've seen all my investments in the past take a dip really bad. My parents had 401ks and all that stuff. They lost their ass in 2008. It's all built up bullshit. So I do think until the government finds a way to try to regulate more or something like that with cryptos, which I don't know how they can because they don't own the currency. So, or they'll try to find a way to block it, you know. I think China has already blocked the buying or trading of cryptos there somehow. So, which is a sign typically something like cryptos, as the saying goes, like with anything, cryptos are obviously winning because if you really think about it, like the saying goes, if you're say you're a bombardier, if you're over the target and you're catching flak, you're over the target if you're catching flak. So I always like that. Like telling the truth about stuff, when people are trying to censor you, shut you down, deplatform you, all these kind of things or whatever. Well, if you're out there telling the truth, like medical information is the truth, but they're censoring you and shutting you down because you're out there telling the truth, that you must be over the target if you're catching flak, you know what I mean? So, same thing with crypto though, it's winning. I see it. Start wherever you can, start sticking money into crypto somehow, and don't just go all into Bitcoin possibly. I mean, Bitcoin's a good one, but all these other ones too, there's several of them that if you want to just sprinkle money across them constantly, $10, $20, $100, whatever, wherever you can put in on some of these. And some of them are only worth fractions of a cent right now and everything too, that get in early, just like Bitcoin was, get in early. And if you buy $100 worth of one of these ones that you own multiple coins now, like say you put $100 into one, it's only worth a penny. You got thousands of shares of this Bitcoin or crypto, and it grows to $1, $2, $5, even $5 or something like that. But you own a couple thousand of them. You just made thousands upon thousands of dollars. It's like, yay! And then you cash part of it out, roll it into another one that's ready to sprout and all that kind of stuff, and just keep playing the little movement upwards, But I will be doing that now. Get in on the ground floor of any crypto. Like I said, Bitcoin's at 56,000, but they're expecting Bitcoin to be worth $1 million a coin eventually. So if you get in at 56,000, I mean, amplify that percentage. You know what I mean? It's worth $1 million one day. Hello. And then too, once you can actually start trading in cryptocurrency for goods instead of, which you already can in some places now, that once it's more accepted as an actual currency to buy things with, buy a car, buy a house, whatever, the conversion will come one day. And if these Bitcoins are worth X amount, you can just trade off a Bitcoin or two and own a house. So, yeah, definitely. As a matter of fact, as soon as we get off this live feed, I'm going to go back in. I got to put my banking information back into Coinbase, and I'm going to stick a few bucks into something today. Happy Sunday, right? Let's go make some money. Because think of it, within a couple of years, say you sprinkle 10, 20,000 bucks into cryptocurrencies, and they explode, and now you're worth millions. Because the example I was given, had I taken 12 grand of the example of those 10 cryptocurrencies, it was like Bitcoin, Ethereum, all these ones. Had I put 1,200 bucks on each one of them a year and a half ago, they would all be worth $700,000 now. I would have made, on 12,000 bucks, I would have made $700,000. I mean, a year and a half later, 700,000 bucks. It's like, fuck. But yeah, get on these small ones too, because they're all going to start blowing up as the dollar and the pound and, like I said, the lira. India has was it rupee? Rupees. I forget China's, but the yen, all these things as they devalue because everybody's going into financial crisis in all their countries and inflation is coming on. Cryptocurrencies are going to be where it's at to hedge off and actually gain wealth. While we're still out here working, providing our service, I'll still go make money on these rates as long as I can and keep just dumping it into crypto. Real estate investing until like Biden is out of office and they can reverse some of these policies they're doing and stuff like that and free up the market again. I don't think real estate is I'm gonna wait and watch that one. Continue renting. We even talked about getting a little bit more off grid and buying a big fifth wheel with slide outs and everything and maybe parking it on a spot. Get out of house. Rents are going up. If you could just, I think it's true. My grandmother's brother died from driving tankers, nuclear waste for the government to dump in Mexico, and he got brain cancer from it. He went out west to work. Do I think what's true though? What was the question of what's true? Yeah, Selena. Yeah, I'll actually have to look at the list. It's on my phone. I took a screenshot of the list of, but it was the top 10 trading cryptocurrencies as of September. So, and it was just the abbreviations of trade. You know, I know Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana was on there, and Shiba, and several others. Yeah, I'll have to go back and look. But as soon as I'm going to get back on Coinbase and start putting all these in, and start, like I said, just sprinkling money on them. You know, just so you're just in it already, and just let them. You know, every week, every time, say I got an extra $500 laying around to throw into it, just sprinkle $500 across them. A couple weeks later, sprinkle a few hundred more on it, you know, and just keep getting in, keep going, because I think with crypto, you're only going to gain value from here on out. There may be some to take a dip, but most of them are going to keep, and probably in good proportion too. They're all going to start going up a lot. So get in while you can, man. Get in where you fit in, fool. Who sang that? Get in where you fit in. Somebody tell me. It's West Coast, man. Song's over 30 years old now, but get in where you fit in, fool. I think he was ripping on MC Hammer at that time. Yeah, get in where you fit in, fool. He was a markup at the high school. I used to love that song. It's too short though, but had a good beat. If nobody knows, it was Too Short. He was out of the Bay Area, along with like Tupac and all that kind of stuff back in the day, early 90s, late 80s. Too Short. So anyway, speaking of cryptos and me having to put some money on them, I'll go ahead and hop off here now. It's an hour and 18 minutes. Beautiful Sunday in Otay, Mesa. Gonna start day drinking pretty soon. One crypto you guys want to check out is Saitama. Big news in healthcare, big stuff. Cytomask. Huh. All right, I'll check it out. Like I said, I'm on this Coinbase app, so I know there's different apps, you know, Robinhood, Webull, and all these ones, but Coinbase seemed to be a good one for beginners to get in there and tap around and get advice and all that kind of stuff. That's why I started using it. So I'm going to do that and see if I can start off today, maybe put a couple $100 in my wallet and buy some Bitcoin or something like that today. Treat myself to a positive investment on a Sunday. Let's start heading for the new year right. Put into crypto. After first of the year, get some more money built up. I want to buy another truck. Definitely buy another truck. Keep this truck, run this truck on the side. My buddy Shocker said he would even be willing to come along and drive the Freightliner as he builds up to want to buy his truck. So, and then I just keep this one as a second truck, even just keep it in the yard. Say I buy a pre-emission KW or whatever, and just anything ever happens to it and it goes in the shop, I can hop right in that truck and take off and do more loads. That way, while the truck's in the shop getting fixed, basically what I'm out running pays for it. I don't have to go at a loss. I can always have a truck to run and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I'm looking at, especially with the equipment shortages and all this kind of stuff going on. Having two trucks, one on backup, invest in crypto, start taking better care of my health. Yeah, just be in a position right now to be thinking ahead and covering your ass a little bit for the next year. So I would say yes, 100%, but was there a paper trail linking him to be around leaks? I mean, as far as exposure to chemicals and all that kind of stuff, I mean, I hauled fuel for years, sucked up a lot of vapors, got douched in gas and ethanol all the time. One time I got hosed down with ethanol, and I literally got ill for a couple of days, because it absorbed into my body and stuff. So made me sick from the alcohol. It was like alcohol poisoning. So I always thought about that too. For the years that I sucked up a bunch of gas vapors and everything too, that I end up with some kind of cancer later on. I don't know. Sucks. Looking back, I wish I'd taken more precautions. What's up, Sacktown? I used to live in Sacramento. I lived down off of Gerber on the south side off Florin. I lived down in Roseville. Yeah, I lived in Roseville, Antelope, and then ended up down off of was it like Gerber and Power Inn, I think it was, down the south side. Where I had my last house down there. We got out of that and moved to Bakersfield. Lived in Bakersfield for a few years, and then moved out to Vegas. So, but yeah, I lived in Sacramento for what, 4 years. Yeah, 97 to 2001. Been 20 years since I left Sacramento. Damn. Always liked Sacramento too. My ex-wife didn't like it, and that's why we moved. I was like, all right, I like Sacramento, but South Sac, baby. Yeah, back in the day when Florin Mall was empty. I guess now it's kind of come back up. The whole Florin area, all the values in Sacramento. Back in the day, you couldn't give away a house in Sacramento. Like who wants to buy it? Like back in the 90s and 80s and all that, Sacramento was dirt cheap. And then as it grew a little bit, and by the 2000s, houses were up in the $250,000 range and stuff like that. And then now they're all like 800,000 and stuff. It's like, Jesus criminy, dude. To live in Sacramento? Screw that. I'll take my house in Lubbock. The Good Guys robbery. The Good Guys was wasn't that like a TV store, electronics store? Good Guys, like Circuit City back in the day and all that kind of stuff. I don't remember the robbery. I mean, might be able to remind me of it. I can't remember it. Was Good Guys in the Florin Mall and they robbed it or something like that? I can't remember. Yeah, it was back in the day though, when I was living down off Florin there, when it was super sketch, dude. It was the rougher side of town, The neighborhood I lived in was decent, but it still had a few of those hanky houses in it, like there was just kind of a bad element rolling around. Anybody hear about the blonde-headed girl selling farts in a jar for $1,000 a pop? Hell yeah. That'd be hot. They do that kind of shit in Japan, dude. Like selling dirty underwear and stuff like that. Some chick puts it on and rubs her taco and put it in a cellophane thing, and they got vending machines with girls' dirty underwear. Oh, so Florin hasn't cleaned up much? Yeah. Now, Sacramento for me too, back in the day, I mean, like, okay, so the Florin area was more run down. It was like, call it what it is. It was like the black side of town, like black, white trash, Hispanic. It was the mixed up neighborhoods and all that kind of stuff. And then too, there was a lot of people immigrating from the Bay Area, especially a lot of Samoans and Tongans and stuff. And I worked with a lot of Samoan and Tongan dudes, and I was in really tight with those guys, man. Like I came to find out being friends with Samoans and Tongans was very helpful living in Sacramento and working in the Bay Area, because they all knew each other and they all ran everything. And if I wanted to get my truck unloaded quicker, this chick had to weigh 400 pounds, no joke. This big old Tongan broad. But there was a buddy of mine, his name was Mike Viamau. He was a Tongan dude. And then there was Naki Villamatejo, I think his name was. He was another Tongan guy. And I worked with both of them. And whenever I go down to the Bay Area to drop freight, walk in, And the first time I went in this place, 450-pound Tongan chick or whatever, she was a bitch, man. She was like, oh, man, you just go wait in your truck. We'll let you know when we'll get you unloaded there. All right. So the second time I went back there, though, my buddy Mike Viamal was out there at the food truck. I walk out and I'm, oh, hey, Mike, what's up, man? I hadn't seen him in a little bit because he was working with me in Sacramento, and then he moved back to the Bay Area. And I saw Mike, though, and walked out there. And, of course, Tongan dude, we always fucking hitting each other and shit, whatever, just. But he's, oh yeah, fish, what's up, man? Oh shit. He was fucking yelling across the parking lot, fucking chugs over, fucking big old bear hugs and shit. What's up, man? Oh shit, dude. Well, this Tongan chick comes out, right? Turns out it's a cousin of my buddy Mike's. And he's got his arm around me and shit. When she already blew me off and said, yeah, we'll get to you whenever we get to the type thing. I walk out, see Mike, turn around with Mike, and she goes, hey, because she comes out, she goes, Mike, put your truck in the door, we gotta get, he's all right. And then he goes like this, he goes, hey, this is my buddy Fish, you take good care of him, man, he's like a brother. And she looks at me, and she realized she just blew me off 2 minutes before, right? She turns around, and she goes, all right. And she goes back inside, right? Not even a minute later, me and Michael still sitting there talking and stuff before he goes back to his truck. She comes back and she goes, hey, Fish, put it in door 4. All right, cool. The last time I was there, I waited 2 hours just to unload a few pallets. This time, 2 minutes. Bang. Truly paid off to be in with the Samoans and Tongans down there in the Bay Area, man. They, like I said, they stick together like glue, man. But the guy Mike, when he lived in Sacramento still, he lived on the south side near me too, and went over to his house a few different times. First time I walked in his house, I remember I walk in and there's kids everywhere. Walk in and his wife is there, and then his sister was another woman. She had to have been 400 pounds, right? She had this big old cleaver and she was hacking up a fresh chicken on the kitchen counter. And it was like, there's like blood and like they're doing the feathers and everything. It's like, what the fuck, dude? They're cutting up their own chickens and everything. And I was like, wow. But then we barbecued, drank a shit ton of beer. And me and Mike and a couple other dudes sat out on his back patio just cutting up. All the women were in there cooking and all the kids were running around and wrestling in the backyard and everything. And it was like just a great family time. You know what I mean? They all stick together. They're all super tight. And I'll tell you what, if you cross them in some way, or you get in a fight with one of them, dude, you don't want to know no part of that. I mean, it's like me, like back in the day when I was bigger, stockier, because I was like 250, 275 pounds, I could hold my own. I've lost a ton of weight now, but I used to get in the scraps and everything too, and those are dudes that I would not want to fuck with because I would rather be friends with them because you screw with them and you screw with all of them. It's like, even if they see you later on somewhere, they know who you are, and they're going to make your life miserable. And those guys are tough too, man. I was like, damn, dude. And they said in Samoa and Tonga, that's all you did when you were growing up was, everybody was poor, and everybody just ate a bunch of shitty food and fought all the time. That was it. When you were kids, that's all you did was fight. So I always made sure to be cool with the Samoans and Tongans, for sure. So, anyway, it's been an hour and a half. That was my fun little story of the day. So, recap, I'm in Otay, Mesa. Yeah, Tongan families all over. Yeah, south side. Yep. There's Naki via Matejo and Mike via Mal. My 2 buddies back then. Cool guys. I don't know where they're at now. They were older than me at the time too. So I don't know if they're back in the Bay Area or still living in Sacramento, but make friends with those guys. Don't be an enemy to Samoans or Tongans. I'm telling you that right now. So, all right, everybody get off here. Go on Coinbase or Webull or Robinhood, get signed up, and drop $100 on Bitcoin today. Do yourself a favor. So make something start happening, man. Get out of your 401ks. Get out of all that shit. And start dropping money because everything's going to deflate like a motherfucker. And if you don't have cryptos going, you're going to be sitting here shit end of the stick at the end of the day. So, all right, we'll get out of here. Check back later. I'll try and put some more videos up this week. Like I said, I got 3 hours of video probably I need to put up, so I'll get on that. And happy Sunday. All right, out.